Can you guys hear me? Is my voice is okay? So that will move ahead. Go ahead, guys. You can always type yes. So if you're listening, if you're getting my voice, you can always type yes. Okay, that's nice. Thanks a lot, Deepak. So Ambrish ji, thank you. Brijesh, thank you. Deepak, thank you. Divya, Harsh, Hiren, and Parth, Jignesh, Praful, Yatri, and a lot of you. Thanks a lot for joining me for this wonderful webinar. And before I start this webinar, I would love to talk about myself. My name is Saurabh Pandey, and I'm into digital marketing for last so many years. And you know, this is my love. So I started my career with doing search engine optimization, and SEO is really very important. So I'm into digital marketing for last so many years, and I started my company called BrandVeda, which is one of the leading training institutes in Gujarat, and we do have centers at different cities as well. And I have trained personally. We have trained personally more than 20,000 plus students across the globe, and I'm also visiting faculty and doing my workshops sessions in more than 45 plus colleges. So my objective of this webinar is to add value, because I get to know one thing when I was there in agency. I get to know one thing, that that will take you to heights is learning. And before I start, let me ask you a question. How many of you want to make a lot of money? Okay, fine. So how many of you want to make a lot of money? Go ahead. So guys, so I guess this is very quite obvious question. So everyone wants to make a lot of money. So but keep in mind, the fact is, interested people will never make money, right? And the question is, who's going to make a lot of money? It's committed people. They're going to make a lot of money. And the answer is, are you still committed, or are you still interested, right? So make sure that you have to have commitment. That is really very important. And next thing which I got to know from my experience is, the more you learn, the more you're gonna earn. So if I ask you if you want to double your income or triple your income, make sure that you invest in learning. And trust me, this is a nice success secret. And if you learn every day, if you spend 1 hour every day in learning yourself, and I'm very sure next 2 years you're gonna make a lot of changes, and you'll go to heights, right? Fine. So that's look good, because in this session we're gonna talk about local SEO. And before I start with local SEO, let's do a quick service. Let me ask you a question, like how many of you are, let's say, freelancers or business or entrepreneurs or students? So I'll give you a survey now. Let's check that survey. And I'm going to ask you a small question. Can you tell me about yourself? And you can see, you can type. So just participate in survey. This will give you some idea. So are you student, marketing professional, a freelancer, a digital marketer, a business owner? Fine. So I'm seeing a lot of people. That's nice. Okay, fine. Go ahead, guys. Okay, fine. I'm seeing a lot of people in this room. That's nice. So okay, fine. So most of you are from business, freelancer, and even students as well. And now we're gonna talk about local SEO. And before I start with local SEO, SEO and local SEO are very important for any business. So let's say if you are a business, nice. So if you're having your business, or if you're into digital marketing, or if you're a marketing professional, if you want to take your business to a next level, local SEO is something very, very, very important. But before we talk about local SEO top strategies, because SEO is my first love, I spend a lot of time in SEO, and in this session, I'm going to talk about a lot of important strategies, actionable plan that you can definitely apply just finishing this webinar as well. So before we start, let's see what exactly is difference between SEO and local SEO. And I'm also going to share my screen as well to give you some ideas as well. So let's say I'm going to share my screen, and just a sec, and let me know if you guys can see my screen, and I'll move ahead. Now local SEO is different from SEO, and we'll talk about key quick differences as well. So let's say, for example, if I go to Google, so I hope that everyone is seeing my screen as of now, and you can see that if I go to Google search engine, and if I search for, let's say, a digital marketing institute in Ahmedabad, for example, now you can see that these are ads which are coming here, and Google is known as universal search engine. Now this is something very important. So we're going to talk a lot about this listing, because this will surely going to add a lot of value. So you can see that we are coming here, which is organic result. These are known as local packs, and very powerful, because if you want to rank, if you want to promote a business within certain area, probably in some definite location, this is going to add a lot of value. So you can see that we are coming here, and then you can see that we are also coming here. So keep in mind, we all going to talk about this, right? So this is something very, very important, and we're going to talk about like how you're going to make sure that your website should be here, right? So make sure that the way search engine work, it's not they're not going to do any guessing work. It's all about science, right? It's not magic, it's all about science. So if you follow some best practices, you're gonna get those results as well, right? So this is local SEO, and probably there are a lot of other goals when you talk about local search engine optimization as well. And before we move ahead, let's see a quick difference between what exactly difference between, let's say a difference between our local SEO and SEO. So I'm going to show you a folder. You can see that you can see this, and I'll give you a quick idea what is local SEO versus SEO. So you can see that when you talk about SEO, search engine optimization, so I'm talking about this. So if I go here, I'm talking about this entirely. Now this idea is a very broad targeting, right? So we need to do a lot of work. We need to do on page and off page, link building, link adding, going to do a lot of activities, and their objective is to ranking website. But comparatively, if I talk about local SEO, it's all about ranking businesses, right? So that's very important. So SEO is also a very broad targeting. So it's, I want to make sure that someone is searching from, let's say, Mumbai or Pune or Delhi. If they're looking for digital marketing institute or courses, my website has to be there on Google first page, and I'll try to get on first 3 results as well. So objective of SEO is very clear, and keep in mind, SEO is not about ranking, because this is just a big myth. It's not about ranking, it's all about ranking, clicks, and conversion. And the idea is, if you're doing SEO, are you making money out of it? Now, comparatively, our local SEO, as I said, it's all about ranking your businesses. Second part is, you can see it's all about targeting some important locations. So for example, if I'm in the map, this link, you can see that this search query, which we're talking about, you can see that this is a very localized search query, which is Digital Marketing Institute in Ahmedabad as well. Now this gonna play a very, very important role, because a lot of people, they're gonna see your listing as well. But the question is how we can come here, because there are a lot of businesses, and in this session we're gonna talk about a lot of tips and tricks that will gonna help you. Probably these are tips, and if you use, probably this will work as a tricks as well. Nice. So you can see that. So you can see that this is Google My Business, and we're gonna talk about, this is really very, very important. And before we talk about, let me ask you another question. And my question is, how many of you have done SEO, local SEO planning or strategy for a business? So now I'm again going to ask you a quick survey before we move ahead with local SEO tricks or tips, important strategies. And my question is, how many of you are ready with our local SEO strategy? So let me ask you another survey quickly. So let us say a quick survey. And okay, fine. Let me ask you another quick survey. Let me ask you a quick survey. Just a sec. Okay, fine. So let me ask you quickly. Okay, just a sec. There is some problem, I guess, but just a sec. Okay, fine. I'll start with survey quickly. And my question is, how many of you are ready with your local SEO? So if you're ready with local SEO, if you're doing local SEO, you can type yes. So if you have some local strategy in place, you can always tell yes. And if you're not very sure about local strategy, you can always type no, right? So let me give you a quick survey, because I'm not able to find that part. Okay, fine. This is done. Okay, just a sec. Okay, fine. So how many of you have got yes, a local SEO strategy in plan? I'm not, so there is some problem with this software, but anyways, no problem. So if you have plan in place, you can say yes, and if no, you can always type no. Fine, go ahead, guys, because this will give me some better idea, and probably we're going to talk about that part as well. Okay, nice. So most of you are saying no, but no problem. After this session, I'm going to give you some spreadsheets as well that's going to help you to create some local SEO strategy as well. And another question is, how many of you, find, just a sec. Okay, so how many of you find SEO challenging, local SEO challenging? How many of you find local SEO challenging? Fine, so let's start. And my question is, do you know that how Google gives you ranking? So how many of you know that how does Google rank? Google gives ranking when you talk about, I will show it to you. And the question is, let's say if we are coming here And the question is, how does Google gives you ranking here? This is important question. And let's talk about some important ranking factors, right? So how many of you know Moz? So Moz is very popular tool. Probably I'm going to show you a quick demo as well. But let's check out. So let's say we'll go to Google, and I'll now tell you how does Google actually, what are the ranking factors and how Google is actually deciding your ranking, right? So if I go to Moz local pack ranking, and we'll talk in detail about these rankings. And these are all ranking factors for 2018. And Moz is one of the famous tools when it comes for search engine optimization. And I have been using Moz from last lot of years, from last so many years. And you can see that these are some ranking factors. And we're going to talk about these factors as well. So you can always take down this link and you can do some research. And then I'm also going to add some add value as well. So you can see that, so number one part is it's very important. It's all about Google My Business. So make sure that you should be setting Google My Business. I'll quickly show you Google My Business as well. Links are really very important. So backlinks are really very important. And you can see reviews are very important. On-page signals, and we'll talk in detail what exactly we mean by on-page signals as well. Citations are really very important. Behavioral signals, personalization, social signals. These are top 8 ranking factors. And if you want to learn in detail, you can always go and you can always check these details as well. But now I'm going to help you to understand how does Google gives local ranking, and I'm also going to help you how you can in order to understand these parameters as well. So let's go and check. Now I'm going to share, and you can see. So just a sec. I'll go to my folder. And quickly, let's see. So there are a few important local SEO metrics. And if you want to get ranked on Google, these are some important metrics for local SEO. So number one is you should be good when it comes to Google My Business. And you can see that this is my Google Business. So make sure that the first and foremost thing is a Google Business page is very important local metrics. And you can see that you can go to google.com and you can search for Google My Business. You can see that. And you can see that you can go here and you can register your business here. So I have already registered my business, and we're going to talk about a lot of things that you can do with Google My Business as well. But one thing is very important, that if you really want to rank on Google, Google My Business is one of the key success in local SEO as well. So make sure that you should have an account. And if you don't have an account, probably go and create one account and then probably start using these strategies that we are learning here. Is this okay? So number one part is, which is really very important, is you can see, fine. So you can see here, which is Google My Business. Now, second part, which is really very important, if we talk about local SEO metrics, is website technical. And we'll talk about some important tips as well. So make sure that your load time should be less. There should not be any technical errors, because that also plays very important for Google to know about your website as well. Third part is obviously, as we say, on-page optimization. So website content is really very important. Here we're going to talk about website structure or content or URL structure, navigation. All those things are really very important. Now, next thing which is very crucial, which are known as citations, and we also going to talk about in this session about citations as well. And citations are the key. And my question is, how many of you know citations? So if you know citations, you can tell yes. And if you don't know citations, you can tell no. Go ahead. So guys, go ahead. Okay, fine. Go ahead, guys. So how many of you know citations? Go ahead. So what are citations? Okay, fine. So go ahead. Praful, Rohit, Meghna, go ahead. So okay, fine. No worries. Now we'll also talk about in the citation, but citations are really very important when it comes to a local SEO as well. Is this okay? So you can see that if I talk about citations are very important, and I'm going to tell you how you can build citations, and I'm going to talk about some of important tools that can help you do this job as well. Next thing, which is really very crucial when it comes to Google local SEO ranking, which is reviews. And make sure that people should love your job, people should love your services, and then you should have some process to ask for reviews as well. We're going to talk about this part as well. And finally, social media is again very important, because Google gets a lot of information from social media as well, because Google is actually monitoring, and Google is seeing that how many people on social media are actually talking about your business as well. So that is something very important. So before you get into hardcore strategy, keep in mind these are some important local SEO metrics. Number one is Google My Business, website technical, website content, citations, review, and social media as well. Let's go to slide number 3. And we'll talk about what Google My Business is all about. So if you talk about Google My Business page, there are a lot of things that we need to understand. And my question is, how many of you are actually paying attention to Google My Businesses? Because they've done a lot of changes in last so many years. So guys, go ahead and tell me how many of you are actually paying attention when it comes to Google Business. Go ahead. And question is, how many of you, fine, are you seeing my screen? Deepak, fine, I guess you all guys are seeing my screen. Okay, no, just a sec. Okay, fine, don't worry. Okay, just a sec. Okay, fine, so I'm just sharing my screen again. Okay, is this okay? Now, can you see me, guys? Can you see me? Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? This is an Excel sheet that we're going to talk about. Go ahead. Okay, that's nice. Thank you. Thank you, Tanvir. Thanks a lot. So the question is, how many of you are paying attention to Google My Business? And I advise that, okay, fine. So now I advise that you should be paying attention to a lot of Google My Business as well. That's really very important. So if I talk about Google My Business, you can see that information. So Google My Business is all about all these things, and we'll quickly get into Google My Business as well. So number one is reviews are very important. Next part is images are very important. Your information about business, it has to be updated, and there are a lot of information about Google My Business page is asking. There is question and answer part, and there is also post part where you can always update a post. And now Google have also launched booking part if you're into salon or spa, or if you want to register clients as well. Fine. So these are very important parameters of Google My Business. So before we get into, let's get into Google My Business. So now you can see that, as you see here, if I go to my screen, you'll see that if I am searching for Digital Marketing Institute, you see that if I click here, there are a lot of businesses. You can see some ads which are coming here. Probably you can use Google Ads, but you can see that this is our listing. And if I check that, you can see that we do have 725 reviews, and we love teaching, and thanks a lot for my students for this valuable reviews as well. And now you can see that, and then we're going to make sure that if you're working for a client, the question is, do we have more reviews than our clients? This is important question. If not, probably we should make some action plan. This is really very important. Next thing, you can see that these are some photos, and these are some posts. You can see that these are some posts which we have updated just 6 hours ago, and this is really very important. And then you can see these are reviews, and make sure that when someone is doing a review, make sure that you revert. If it's a good review or bad review, make sure that you should always respond. So if someone is not happy, probably you should apologize, and then you try to solve query of your customers as well, because I believe that customer is a god, right? So that's really very important. And the fact is, we all are here because we have customers, right? So if you don't have customers, probably will not be sitting here, right? So you can see that this is important. And when I do analysis, I'll get to know that we are really doing very aggressive and spending a lot of time on optimizing Google My Business page as well. So let's get into Google My Business page. So if you have one business or two business, or if you've got multiple business, you can easily register your business with Google My Business as well. So let's do some investigations. For example, let's check 403 where I'm sitting right now. So we do have, you can see that we do have a lot of centers. Now this is just an idea of dashboard, and you can see that this is performance for last 28 days. How many people they have viewed? 927. How many times people have searched and they've seen our listing? These are activity. You can click, you can see, you can find all these descriptions. This is important. And then you can see that this is a create post, this add a photo, and a create ad. That's nice. And you can see that these are some photographs, and you can see that learn more. So you can see that a lot of things are here, and you can also get an Android app as well. So make sure that you check Android application as well. Now, if you go to post, you can see, we'll go to insights as well. You can see these are the posts. So that's really very important. So make sure that you can make a note. I'm also going to give you an Excel sheet. So make sure that you have to post regularly. That is really very important. And you see that how many people they have viewed, right? So that's very important. We'll see a lot of details from inside. And then you can see that what's new, events, and offer and product. So events. So if you have an event, you can always register event as well. And you can see that this is really, again, very, very important. You can see that a lot of people are actually seeing it, and they're also have a sign up button as well. You can also put a link as well, and you can always share this post as well. That's really very, very important. And next part, you can see you can add an offer. If you have any offer, you can put this offer, or if you have a product, you can also talk about the product as well. That's really very, very important. So make sure that you should be creating updates on regular basis, add event, add offer, or you can also put a product as well. Now this section is very important, which is information, and make sure that you should be also talking about informations as well. So that's really very, very critical, and make sure that you fill all this detail. They're going to ask you a lot of details, and make sure that it must be complete. And the next part is insights. Now here you can see the power of Google My Business. You can see these are the queries which people are typing on Google, and you can see that digital marketing question about this many times people have searched on Google. They have found my listing. This is just an idea how people reached discovery in 65, and you can see that customers will find your listing on your business name, discovery. You can see that these figures are very important. This is for 1 month, and if I do it for 1 quarter, you can see that 23,771, and that's really very important. So if I go here, I get to know that what people are searching, and I can also find the top search queries as well. So this is really very important. Is this okay? And you can see that how many times people viewed on listing and maps, and you can see the power of Google My Business. This is very important. These are actions. How many people have visited, how many people have called. So you can see that in 1 month we got 96 calls, and that is really very, very important, because someone is on Google My Business. They are very powerful. They are really very powerful customers, and make sure that you should be able to optimize, because when we talk about rest of other strategies, it's very important that you should be paying a lot of attention to Google My Business. And then you can see reviews here, and you can see that we do have a lot of reviews, and I'm very thankful to my students. And even if you have some negative, make sure that you should apologize. So we do have, Prashant came in, but because of our sales team problem, so that was some problem. I guess he waited for 50 minutes, and my sales team could not respond. So I'm really so sorry for Prashant, and that's what I said. And then you can see that these are all some top reviews as well. So that's really very important. Make sure that you should reply as well. So make sure that if someone is talking good, you should be responding, because then Google will come to know that that someone is talking good about your business, and you're responding as well. Now keep in mind, one thing is very important, that ask your customers to spend time to write some more meaningful reviews. So I don't want your customers to write, okay, fine, very good or very useful or excellent, that's okay, but if they can share more details, it's going to add a lot of value. Now it depends on your customers and you and chemistry, so that if you can make them or encourage them, give them offers, so that they can write good about your business as well. So if they're happy, you push them, that's very important, but it's up to customers as well. So my objective is simple: build relationship with the customers and try to get some good reviews. Now the point which I want to tell you is Google also take care of this part as well, because when Google see that someone is writing excellent, that's fine, that's really good, because someone is really appreciating. But someone is writing long and better reviews, that adds a lot of value to Google as well, like Google algorithms as well. They'll get to know that someone is serious and they're really appreciating as well. So that's really very important. Fine. So even length of this is really very important. And then come messaging part. So let's see. So probably you have to install, and the best part is people do message you. So let's say if they're on my local My Business, they can give you a message. Photos are really very important. So make sure that you should be uploading photograph every time. So make sure that's really very important. You can see that these are views: 2.71, 756, 3.0K, 1.41, 219. You can see a lot of, and you can see here by owner. So that's important, right? So how many views? 45.9K views. That's really very important. And then from here, you can always create a post as well. That's really very interesting, right? So that's really very important. And then you can see that services. Here you go and talk about services, fine, and website, and you can always add a user as well. So if you want to give this task to someone who's a freelancer or strategist, you can always add information as well. So if I want, what I can do is I can always invite users who can actually manage this part as well. Fine. So I guess one part, so you can do research, and the part which I want to tell you is, so one part really very important, which I want to tell you, that pay attention to Google My Business. It means you have to spend time. So spend time, probably half an hour, in order to make sure that you should make it as a part of operations. That when you give services, make sure that you work on Google posts as well. Make sure that you should be getting photos, create some posts as you do it for social media, because content is something very, very important. And when you do this part, Google will get to know that, okay, this business is having a lot of activity, and probably we should definitely take care of that business as well. But keep in mind, there are a lot of ranking factors, but as of now, we just talked about only Google My Business as well. Fine. Now we'll talk about some other very, very important factor. And let's quickly talk about citations, because I find citations are very, very important. Fine. So let's talk about citations. And my question to all of you is, how many of you are taking, let me see if I can show you a survey. Okay, so let's see quickly. Okay, fine. So let me ask you another question. Okay, so my question is, are you aware of local ranking factors? Go ahead, guys. So are you aware of local ranking factors? You can type, if you yes, you can type yes, and if you yes, you can always type. So we also talked about local ranking factors. So you, okay, fine. This is important. That's nice. So we talked about some most local ranking factors as well. So that's really very, very important. Thanks a lot for this wonderful review. I'm also going to talk about local ranking factors. You can go to Moz, the link which I showed to you, and you can always work on that part as well. That's nice. Now let me ask you another question. Okay, fine. So my question is, how many of you know about let's say sorry, so just a sec survey, and okay, local SEO tool. Okay, fine. Citations, local SEO. Let's challenge in local SEO in place. Okay, fine. And my question is, do you have a local SEO strategy in place? Fine. Oops. So you can see that we have got 3 answers as of now. Oops, what's this? I'm a fresher in this. Well, yes, but not very sure. And honestly, low and want to learn more. That's nice. Okay, fine. That's nice. So that's important. Good. So learning is really very important. And thanks a lot. Okay, nice. Okay, go ahead. Anand, Darshan, Deepak, Divya, Hiren, all attendees. Thanks a lot. Because one thing is important, that you need to learn every day, and this is the best investment. And how many of you are, let's say, I'm very sure you must be having, life insurance, right? So you must be having life insurance. And how many of you have got knowledge insurance? Now, this is something very important, which I always tell to my students is, spend some money in yourself. So I see that a lot of people are struggling, because they actually pay attention and they spend money a lower part of the body, whereas all top leaders, people who are doing really good job, they actually spend money here. So I'm not saying that you should learn. You should be putting, learning a lot of things. So let's say if you can invest in learning, you can do courses, NLP, you can do a lot of things as well. Okay, there is no service category. No worries, Brijesh. We'll talk in question and answer session as well. No worries. Fine. So let's start, and let's talk about very important citations. And I'm again gonna share my screen, and let's again start. Okay, fine. So let's start. Okay, fine. So I hope that you guys are actually seeing my screen. And now so I'll talk about SEO quick. So keep in mind that we got to know about local business. But keep in mind that Google ranking factors, and the goal is to come in first 3 ranking in local packs. And there are 3 major things that we should be taking care of. Number 1 is we should be talking about proximity, because Google also gives result on the basis of searchers, interest, and distance from the business as well. So let's say if someone is from, let's say, very far from my place, probably my result might come or might not come. But Google also wants to try, local businesses. So let's say if you are standing near Helmet Charasta, and if you're looking for digital marketing, probably my results gonna come because of proximity. But it doesn't mean that every time when people are searching near your business, you'll always get your Google local listing. That's not at all true. Keep in mind, that's not at all true. So it depends on a lot of factors, but still proximity is one of the important factors as well. Next part is which is relevancy, and we'll talk about what is relevancy. It's all about content. It's all about website structure, and it's all about with some third-party tool as well. We'll talk about that part as well. And next part is prominence, how people know your business. That's really very, very important. That's also helps Google to understand which brand is very popular. So it's, are people searching about your brand keywords on your Google search? So are people typing BrandVeda on Google search? If they are doing search, it's going to add a lot of value, right? And it again depends upon backlinks. Backlinks are very important. We talk about citations as well. So in a short, you can see that there are 3 major parameters, which is proximity, relevancy, and prominence. That's really very, very important, right? So we'll see another path before we get into citation. And you see that if you talk about technical, because I talk about technical part as well. But before we get into technical part, let's talk about citations. And the question is, what is citation? I'll talk to you just a sec. Okay, fine. Citation is, so citation is, it's about NAP. NAP is all about name, address, and phone number. So it's my office is 403 Sajanand Complex near Helmet Charasta, Ahmedabad. This is name, name is BrandVeda, address and phone number, let's say phone number is 7567154257. So I need to make sure that it has to be there across all websites as well. So citations are, you need to develop citation. It means you need to make sure that, because when Google, number one is Google check a lot of signals from different websites as well. And probably if I'm talking about citation, these are all directories. So let's say, I hope that you must be knowing India Mart or Trade India, or let's say a Just Dial or Sulekha. Fine, these are all websites where you can list your business. And what Google does is Google also Google try to get this information from across these websites as well. So what you should be doing is make sure that you must have a strong NAP, which is name, address, and phone number across websites. I'll tell you how you can find all those things. So probably if someone is mentioning about business, that is again very important. So if someone as a local blogger, if they're mentioning about a business, it's again gonna add a lot of value. So question is someone mentioning about a brand? This is really very important. If people are mentioning, it's gonna add a lot of value. Probably where we can do it, probably all directory site or review sites. So that's really very important. So review sites, as I shown to you, probably we can do review on Google My Business page, but there are a lot of other websites as well which I'll show to you where you can put a review as well. For example, Just Dial review or Sulekha review. And there are a lot of websites where you can actually put your business name as well. So that is known as citation building. And citation building, not necessarily that you will get a link in case of link building, because you must be doing a lot of link building. You are generating a lot of backlinks, because backlinks still are the number one factor. But it doesn't matter if you have links or not, probably your name, address, and phone number has to be there. That is really very important. And that's why I'm mentioning here is your brand should have presence with or without links as well. So that is really very important. And why citations are so important? Because Google gives you rewards. So number one, they check your name, address, and phone number across all these kind of websites, and that is again a big ranking factor as well. So I'll quickly show you what I exactly mean. So for example, you can see my screen, right? So let's talk about citation. And now this topic is really very important. And if you really want to rank, make sure that citation has to be there. You can see that one citation you can build in Google My Business as well. And same way, what you can do is you can also create an account in Bing Local Business as well, or Yahoo Local Business as well. So that is again very important, because that also adds a lot of value. Fine. So just give you a quick idea. So let's say if I'm searching for digital marketing course, guys, you can see my screen, right? So I'll just quickly talk you. So when someone is mentioning about a business, that's very important. So let's see if I search digital marketing course in the bar. This is just an idea. And you can see that we are coming here. Fine. And you can see that, let's say Sulekha. So when you search here, you'll get to know that Sulekha is a place where you should register your business, because this is again coming on Google search page. This is important. So website is Sulekha. And then what we can do is we can find all directories, and we'll try to register our business as well. Fine. So India Mart or Trend India, we can always register. You can see that I'll give you example. You can see these are ads. I'll go to second page. I'll show you what I exactly mean. You can see that, let's say this is our link which is coming here, which is top 7 digital marketing institution in the Bud. And let's say top 4 digital marketing courses in the Bud. You can see that Just Dial is also coming here. So when I see these details, I'll get to know that fine, I need to register my business with across all business directories, because Google also get a lot of information from these directories as well. I'll give you that idea how you're going to find website, but I'm just giving you an idea. So you can see that if you're talking about 7 top digital marketing training institute in the Bud, and this was written by Yogi Tyagi. And if I go down, they're talking about why you should be doing, why you should be. Okay, fine. We'll talk about Deepak Sharma. We'll talk about. Don't worry, right? We'll talk about question and answer bridges, which local business that is good for it. We'll talk about. Don't worry. We'll talk about question and answer mode. Don't worry. And you can see that. So when I see this, you'll get to know that you see here. So when I see that, you can see that they're talking about 7 digital marketing institutes, and you can see that nice. They're talking about my business. Now this is very important, because someone is mentioning about a business. It's really very important. You can see that this is address, this phone number. That's really very important, right? And because this is to meet someone else, so probably they'll get this information from a website. But if you're registering a website with, let's say, even you see Digital Deepak, they posted this blog, and Eddie Pristine, and they are talking about, you can see this is again a BrandVeda. So people are mentioning, so that gives a lot of an idea. And what you can do is find bloggers who are talking about all these things, and then start with outreach and write them an email and say that if they're creating content around your topic. For example, if I find all those people who are talking about top digital marketing courses in the Bud, and in case if they're not mentioning me, I'm going to find their email address or contact number, and I'm going to give them a call saying that fine, you have talked about digital marketing courses or institutes in the Bud, but you have not mentioned me. So we can do that part as well, and I'm very sure that they're going to take this into consideration as well. If you talk about Just Dial, you can say I can also register my business, because you can see that this is the business name. NAP also comes here. This is really very, very important. So make sure that it has to be here, right? So NAP is again very important. And the question is, how are you going to find NAP? Is number one is you can go to Google and search for, let's say, business directories. So I will tell you another nice tool which can help you do that part. Let's say I'll go to Google and search for, let's say, top business directories. And then what you can do is you can always search. You can see that these are all top 57 business directories. I can do a little bit more search. I can go to Google and search for, let's say, top business directories in India, and make that you also register your business as well. So top 10, and if you go here, you can see top 757 online. This is coming from HubSpot and from Quora. Top 200 free business listing sites in India, high DNPA, which is domain authority and page authority. So you can always check this as well. That's really very, very important. So make sure that you can find this listing and then go and check and create an account, and make sure that you should have consistency of NAP as well, NAP, which stands for NAP. And citation is very, very, very important. Now I'm going to tell you one tool. That tool going to help you to find citations, and that is really very important, which is known as these are the tools. So my question is, let me ask you another question quickly before we move ahead with some important tools when it comes to building citations. And let's see, let me ask you a question quickly. So how many of you know citation tools? I'll go to surveys, find local SEO tool. Okay, fine. So let me ask you quickly. So my question is, how many of you know citation building tool? Do you have any idea? You can say yes or no. Fine. Let me ask you. So can you participate in this? Which is the most local SEO optimization tool? So let's go, guys. So SEMrush, Ahrefs, more. These are very nice tools. Okay, fine. I'm talking about local SEO. Go ahead, guys. Let's participate. Okay, fine. That's nice. But I'm going to talk about a lot of tools. Some of very important tools. Nice. Fine. So you guys are right. So you can see that. Okay. And which is the most popular SEO local optimization tool? You can see Moz local or Semiridium local citation finder. Go ahead. Okay, fine. Now I'll tell you. You guys can also participate, because when you participate, it's a strong leadership quality as well. That's really very important. So the idea is, what you can do is you can always go to some. So I'm going to tell you some tools which can help you to do this part. And one of the tools that you can always check, you don't need to have credit card, and you can just check, and these tools going to help you. So let's talk about some important citation tool. And number one tool is, which is really popular, which is known as Moz local. So I can go to Google and I can search for Moz local. This is a tool which is coming from Moz local, and keep in mind this is a paid tool. This is not free, but their costing is not that high, and they do a lot of things. They do a lot of things as well. So just check this tool, and if you want to see your presence, you can click here, and then probably they'll ask you to upgrade. I'm not very sure. Fine. So you can see India, but probably they're not active for India. Probably we need to check, but you can use this tool as well, which is Moz. And another tool that you can use, which is very, very popular, which is known as Bright Local. So you can go with Bright Local, and you can check. And the best thing what you can, so what this tool does is, so let's say if your competitor is ranking, so what benchmark you should be making is, if your competitor is ranking, no worries, they're doing fantastic job. We need to learn from them. And what you should be doing is check where they are making citations. So which all websites they have registered, and where their name, address, and phone number is available. And make sure that if those websites are good, probably you can also create your business listing as well. So that tool does a lot of work, which is a Bright Local. It's also gonna add a lot of value as well. That's really very important. And next is, you can also go to another tool which can add a lot of value when it comes to citation building. We call it as a citation building. This is very important for local SEO, and which is known as WhiteSpark. So go to Google and search for WhiteSpark. So that's really very important. And you can see WhiteSpark, which is okay. So you can say this is a nice tool. I found that this is a great tool, and they do a lot of work. You can see that they do citation building, they do cleanup. So let's say if you have some duplications, or let's say if you have not correct entry, so they're going to tell you a lot of things. And probably you can check their tools as well. You can see local citation finder. So put your competitor business, and they will check and find your competitors NAP as well. That's important. They also track local ranking. Link prospector, they do a lot of services, and probably just check all the services, local search order, it, and this is gonna give you a lot of value as well. So that's really very important. And there is another tool, so you can also search. You can go to Google and search for, let's say, citation, building tools. You can always see, and you'll find Bright Local, which I showed to you. That is Moz is okay. I find this is nice. I've used this tool for many of our clients, and this is also nice, which is GeoRanker. Just check this tool as well, and it's gonna add a lot of value as well. So make sure that you use citations, and you can use another. You can see if I show you a sheet, which I'll give it to you. Just a sec, I'll give it to you. So that sheet is really very important. So we'll talk about that sheet as well. So you can see the citation building template, and you can see that this is important. Now this is sheet. Let's say, for example, I want to do my business. So what I'm going to do is, this is a citation, local SEO citation building template. Fine. So just quickly close. Just a sec. So a lot of tabs. Okay, fine. So can you? Okay, fine. It's White Spark. Nice. So thank you. So fine. Which third tool I said? I talked about White Spark. I talked about Moz local as well, and then Bright Local as well. So you can use these tools as well. So these are some of the tools, and you can see here. So I'll show to you. Now this is one important sheet which I'll give it to you, which I'll send it to you on your email ID, and make sure that fine. So I'm going to send you, make sure that you work on this sheet, and you can see that this is all contact, email, country, address. And what you can do is find all local business from using these tools. And then you need to have username and login password, and see if that is done. So what you have to do is make sure that every listing is okay, and then you can make it live. And then you can also put a link here where your name, address, phone number is visible, or where your business is visible. And then you can always see here, still need to add. So if there is something which is missing, you can always write that something is missing. You can see that even company page is very important from LinkedIn. So make sure that you must have a company page on LinkedIn as well. So that's really very, very important. So you can see that these are all websites, but you can find a lot of other websites as well. So that's really very important, and make sure that you use them. So why you have to use tools is find tools, put your competitors, find their map, where their map is, and try to see how you can get that map. So for example, let's say if I get to know that my competitor, they have registered with let's say India Mart, for example, then you have to take a call whether you have to also enroll with the paid or free plan. That's absolutely your call as well, because for some directories they will be paid, for some directories this will be free. But I suggest that if that is free, go ahead and do that part, and make sure that you use Moz and check for PA and DA, so that you'll get to know that quality of website as well. So quality of website is very important, and quality of citation is really matters, right? So I will share this sheet, but this is really very important. Fine. And now what we're going to do is we could talk about another point which is really very important, which is technical optimization. So citations. Fine. So we'll talk about. So you can see that we have just talked about citations and citations. So make sure that you use these tools, and you can use Bright Local because they're offering 14-day free trial, and just check it out. And if you have any problem, you can always get back to me as well. So that's really very important. So next factor that we should be checking is, I'll show to you. So you can see my screen. Just a sec. So which is very important, which is technical part as well. So make sure that you should be working on technical part, and schemas are really very important. So make sure that you work on website technical part. Make sure that you should be good when it comes to creating meta description or title tag or URL tags. That's important. Navigation structure is really very important. Probably we're gonna spend time probably in my coming webinar, how should be your website structure. But navigation is very important. Speed is really very important, and local markup is very important. So one markup that you can do with the help of schema, and another you can do Google Map markup as well. So make sure that you work on this. And the question is, how are you going to find? So I'm going to talk about some tools that can help you to do this part as well. So you can do some technical audit, and there are a lot of lists of things that we do in technical audit. For example, 404 or 301, 302, or let's say a soft, let's say error code, for example, or let's say maybe some issue with the server as well, also with image or the file size, with CSS. There might be a lot of problems, and I'm going to tell you some tools that can help you to do that investigation as well, right? So let's say, for example, I'll go here and I'm going to show you some tools. So let's say you can go to Google and search for, let's say, mobile friendly test. This is very important. You can test about your website, whether your website is mobile friendly or not. This is important. And you can also go to a tool which is known as speed test insight tool. So speed test insight tool. So you can always use this. This is again important. And you can always use this tool as well to find which pages are actually taking a lot of time. And if there are some errors, you can always use. And you can use another tool which is known as, which is very popular, which is pingdom. And you can see that pingdom finds your website performance and availability report as well. So make sure that website should not have technical. You can use another tool in order to do some technical audit. And this is one of my favorite tools, which is SEO Spider Frog. Fine, is a nice tool, Spider Frog. That's really very important. So you can see that you can always use this desktop software as well. So you can use a lot of tools. You can also use Google Analytics, and you can find a lot of details as well. So that's really important. And technical part is really very important because that tells Google that how website is. And markups, I'll show it to you how you can create a markup. Quickly, markup is important, and you can see that these are some tools that I can use. So I'll just show you a sample, which is here, markup. Fine, so you can go to this tool. I'll quickly show it to you. I'll copy this. I'll share this sheet as well if you want. That's not a problem. So I'll go here. So make sure that you should always do markup. So which is rich data format or micro data format or schemas are very important. So this is one link that you can see. I'll tell you what exactly is this. I'll show you another link so that you'll get to know. This is coming from Google Developer. I'll copy as well. And you can see that I can also put here as well. So you can see that this is one tool. This is from Google developers. You can see the iLocal business. Now, why this is important? And you can also search about schemas. Schemas are very important. Probably schemas tell a lot of things about your website. Now, keep in mind one thing is important, that Google crawlers, they are not Rajnikant, right? So never think that Google will understand a lot of things about your website, right? So Google crawlers are not Rajnikant, right? So probably they'll not understand everything about your website. So let's say, for example, if your website, if you're writing and mobile number, probably Google is not very sure if that 10-digit number is a mobile or a phone. I'm just giving you an example, but we need to give a lot of signals to Google, and that's why schemas are created. Now, what is schema? It's in common language, and you can go to Google and search for schema generator tools or schema just to get an idea. And this is a common language between all search engines. So all search engines, they have actually created this schema so that website crawlers can understand your website in a better way as well. So let's say you can see some documentations as well. So let's say my business is local business. Let me check. This is organization or local business. Nice. I'll click here, and you can see that we want to create some codes. You can see some experiment, but you can see that opening hours. This is, so you can see that it's all about item prop, right? So I'll just quickly create. I'll show to you, because if you're not good with technical, don't worry. I'm going to show you a tool, but I'll just give an example. So if you see here, this is just an example of schema. If you see markup, what you have to do is you have to create. This is a markup. You can see that this is a markup. I'm just giving an example. Now this is like this. This is a code. So what we need to do is we need to put a code in a website, and Google will read like this. And what you can see telephone number, an American, a cuisine, menu, image. And now why this is important, day of the week. So you can see that when your business is open and when it's getting closed, day of the week. So a lot of things we can tell to Google with the help of this. Now keep in mind that if you are a local business, make sure that these informations are very important, because people will come to your center, or they're gonna come to your business and they would like to have this information. But from user, it's okay, because you can keep that in your website. But it's very important for search engine or crawlers or bots to know about these details as well. And how you can do it, create some markups. So let's say I'm going to create a markup, and make sure that you can always check whether your website is having that markup or not. And let's say if I click new test, so put any URL, put XYZ URL, and see that markup is available or not, and then you'll get to know that whether that website is having markup or not. So you can check it here. Put that link. So let's say if I put any link, let's say I'll show to you. Let's say I put Bahubali, for example. I'll just give you an idea. So how many of you remember Bahubali, right? Okay, fine, no worries, Brijesh. But let's see Bahubali. So you can see that this is 8.1 MDB. This is coming from IMDb. So if I click on IMDb, I'll go to IMDb. Now you can see that the question is, how does Google came to know that this is a rating and this is 87 on Rotten Tomatoes? This is a review. So this is all coming from schemas. You can see director. How does Google come to know that this is SS Rajamouli and film series is Bahubali and release date is this? How does Google get this information? This information is coming from schemas. I'll just quickly give you an idea. So if I click on IMDb, I'll click here, and then what I'll do is I'll copy this. I'll go to this tool, which is structured data testing tool. This is important because I need to get a lot of information to Google. I'll click here, and I'll get to know that what all things have been placed on the website. So if there are codes you're going to find here, you can see that these are things here. Nice, these things are here. You can movie, and Google is actually. So what we need to do is we need to create such kind of coding, and we need to put this on backend as well. So this is very important. Probably you can get in touch with any coder. They will help you to do this. And if you know coding, probably this is not a big job. And if you want to create such kind of coding for local business, go to this tool. Let's say I want to create, and then you can see, let's say if I'm from, let's say movie theater, for example, I'm going to put a name, let's say Ravi Theater. So this is just an example. And you can see that once I do, you will see that all will be done here. You can see the movie theater. So what this tool is doing is, so they're actually creating JSON-LD. And this is an output, this is an HTML, this is JSON-LD, and you can use this tool. So let's say I want to make sure that my business is open across all these. I can also do like this, and you can see that all things are here. So you can use this tool. I can share this link to you, and then you can check and make sure that your business should be there, have some markup as well. Now you can also go to Webmasters, and you can go to Business Highlighter. Probably there also we're going to have option of highlighting data as well. So go to Webmasters and make sure that you connect your website with Webmasters, and then Webmasters you're going to find a part where we can highlight data as well. So go and check that part as well. That's really very, very important as well, right? So make sure that you work on micro data as well, because that is really very, very important. Technical part, important citations is very important. These are some of the tools, and make sure that you must have strong online reviews as well, right? So if you want to find reviews, what you can do is you can always go to Google. Let's say if I'm looking for, let's say, movie theater, movie reviews, for example. So what I can see is I can type movie reviews, for example. I'm just giving an idea and see what all things ranking. So you can see Times of India, they are putting a lot of MSN, Rediff reviews. You can see this is a column reviews. This is reviews. So I'll get to find, and then what I'm going to do is, let's say, for example, I can type keyword plus reviews. So let's say digital marketing course reviews, for example. I'm just giving an idea, digital marketing course reviews. So you can see that Quora is a nice place to talk about a lot of things. Let's see, search engine general, that's okay. Mouth shut is one of them. We can also do some on mouth shut. I can also promote my business. I can ask my employees to do it on Glassdoor. And then you can see Class Central. So from here, I can also find some reviews. You can see reviews are coming here. Class Central. So idea is we need to find, we can do some search queries and we can always find. So you can find keyword plus reviews, or you can put your, let's say my company, and let's say BrandVeda reviews, for example. Let's see where people are actually giving reviews. So you can also put business reviews. So you can see the mouth shut is coming here. Complaintboard.in. So people also type in there as well. Just dial. Facebook is a good place to get a lot of reviews. Sulekha is good. You can see, and then I'll go to second page. So put keyword plus reviews. You see that is coming from YouTube. UrbanPro is a good place to get a lot of reviews. Mindala, TripAdvisor probably, but this is not that relevant. But I'm just giving an idea. But make sure that you have to put reviews as well. So here are some some tips what we've learned from this session, and this is really very, very important. Now what I'll do is we can see that I do have another sheet with me, and you can see this is what I've created, which is BrandVeda local SEO checklist, and I can send this sheet to you as well. So what are the things we have learned? You can see that some tips you're going to find here as well. So I'm talking about I'm just giving you an idea about what things exactly you can see. This is website technical setup. This is website local content. These are all citations, online reviews, some social media. Social media platforms are very, very important. To Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, Quora, SlideShare. These platforms are really very important. And then you can see that, and I'm giving you some more valuable tips as well. Fine. So I hope that you got some idea about local packs, and make sure that you implement all these strategies. So make sure that you should be good with Google My Business page. Make sure that you give good services. Make sure that you use tools and work on citations. We talked about a lot of tools. Make sure that there should not be any problem with your website, technical audit, and go and meet some SEO a guy who can help you to do some technical audit. That is important. And next part is always try to make sure that people should give you some positive, and if they're talking more about the business, go and tie up with some bloggers, local bloggers, if they can talk positive about you. That is really very, very important. And then finally, make sure that you should have a strong presence on social media as well, because the question is are people talking about the business on social media? That's really again very, very important part as well. So that's really interesting. That's really very important. And make sure that you follow such tips, and you will get a lot of valuable ideas. Fine. So now it's time for Q&A. Now, if you want to ask any question, you can always ask me a question. Go ahead, guys. Okay, fine. So business name is screen, not visible. Fine. Due to time, I have to go. Thanks, Saurabh. Thiren, thanks a lot. Jignesh, okay, fine. Brijesh, okay, that's okay. Let's go with question answer mode. So you can ask me questions. If you have any questions, you can always type questions. Go ahead. Go ahead. If you have any question, you can always ask me, because local SEO is very important, and make sure that you pay attention. Okay, fine. Someone has asked a question. Let's say, okay, fine. Is it possible my business? Okay, thanks, Saurabh. Thank you, Viren. Is it possible my business name appears in local pack but does not have his? You need to have Google My Business page. So Google My Business page is important. There are a lot of reasons, because I showed to you that Google My Business page is really very, very, very important, because you're going to see a lot of statistics. You can see people can message you, people can see your post. Probably, so rather asking this question, probably we should get aggressive on Google My Business. This is what I suggest. There's no business service under photos in my Google. Fine, you can share some screenshots. Probably we'll look into Brijesh. We'll look into it. Don't worry. So I'm going to share my email ID. Probably we can always talk, and we can always see. Okay, fine. So I'll give you some snapshot of where you're going to put this website. I'm a Yatri. Let's say where we can put schema code. Fine. I'm going to send you. You send me a mail about this, and I'm going to revert you back. So fine. No worries. I'm going to tell you a video, or I'll make a short video, and I will tell you where we're going to put that part as well. So don't worry, Yatri. I'm going to solve this. But this is not a big problem. The problem is to make sure that you should have written schemas. Putting code is not a big problem. I'll send you some tutorials or some references where you can find these details as well. Okay, near me keyword can reach how much? See, this is not about near me, because as I cleared one thing really, that a lot of people are searching. Let's say businesses near me, or let's say theaters near me, or Vada near me, or digital marketing course near me, or tuitions near me. So near me is important, because this is one of the things that people always search. So when I talk about near me, probably it's not only about distance. It's not only about distance, trust me, because there are a lot of factors which happens, because Google, they do have a lot of ranking factors. And as I told you in this session, depends on a lot of factors. But make sure that if I talk about near me, probably, let's say, so what you can do is you can always search. Let's say if I just go to Google and search, so let's say if I talk to, let's say, digital marketing course near me, you can also type, but I'm just giving an idea. You can see that, let's say you can always see, if I click here, you can always see from distance here. From here, you'll get to know that. So near me, probably you see that these all near me, what they're showing as of now. And you will get some idea, but keep in mind, it's not only about proximity or distance. It's all about a lot of other factors as well. So even if you are very near, it doesn't mean that that you will find ranking as well. Fine. Okay, go ahead. Any more question? Okay, fine. So Google My Business post. There's no more live. Brijesh, I'm not able to get your question. Can you put more light on it? Go ahead. So how much should we charge a freelancer digital marketer for setting up and handling Google My Business page, like for local business? Fine. What I suggest is, are a nice question, and the fact is, it depends on resources. Because when you're not very sure about content plan, when you don't have a strategy, probably, because one part is, let's say if you're working on Google My Business page, my objective is you should updating on Google page on every day. So let's say you want to create a post or a video. You can also put a video, and by the way, don't worry, and make sure that Google gonna give you that idea. That's really very nice. Google has introduced this part as well. I'll show to you. You can always put a video as well. You can see, but probably should be about your business as well. So I will show to you, where is it? And you can see that you can add a video as well. You can see add a video. But this is all about local business. You just cannot put any business. Fine, I'll show you that screen, because I guess my screen is not visible. I'll quickly share you. Okay, fine. So you can see that if I go to Google My Business page, you can go to photos and you can go to video. You can also add a video and photo as well. Now keep in mind, when you talk about video, it should be video about your business as well. You just cannot put any promotional, because the idea of this video part is that your customer should see your video as well. That's really very important. It's not be it cannot be a commercial video. It cannot be a tutorial video. It should be video about your business as well, because if they find, probably they're gonna remove that video as well, and probably they'll get to know that this business is doing a lot of spam, and probably they will not happy to promote your business as well. Now the fact is, how much you're going to charge probably depends on your content strategy, because if I'm asking you to put every day a video, so video you can make for $10 as well, it might take $30 as well. And the question is, how many videos you're going to make in a week, and how many photos you're going to update. So is client going to give you a photo, or you will go to client and take the photo? And next part is, are you going to use some tools? If yes, there will be another charge. And if you're doing citation building manually, it again depends how much resources and time you're putting in. So I guess this question that you're asking, we need to do some research before you come to a conclusion. But anyways, you can charge to a client between let's say 10,000 rupees to 30,000 rupees for working on Google My Business as well. And the goals are very important, that you can tell to a client that we're going to get some website visits, we're going to have more messages, we're going to have call, and then we can track all those things as well. And I'll tell you one tool that can really help you to track calls, which is really very powerful tool, which I've been using for Google Ads as well. And that tool is known as CallRail. So you can go to Google and search for CallRail. It's very powerful tool, right? You can say CallRail, and you can track a lot of calls, where the call is coming. So you can always use this tool. And I've been using this tool for a lot of my clients, because I'm also very aggressive in Google Ads. I spend a lot of money, made a lot of money out of it. And this is one of my hardcore, again, core competencies as well in Google Ads. And you can use CallRail as well. So if you have any query, you can ask. So I guess you, Aryan, you got answer to my question, right? Okay, which type of post we post in Google? See, it should be about your business. It should be a business. You can see that. When you go to My Business, you can see that you're going to find a lot of columns: interior, exterior, customers, a lot of things you're going to find. And probably it again depends. So you can see, go to post. Let's say if I share here, if I do desktop sharing, I shared it to you. And if you go here, you can see the photos by customers, overview, interior, industry. It should be interior. It should be exterior. I'm just giving an idea. It should be at work. It should be at teach. So I'm a team photo. So that's really very important. Make sure that you follow the category and work on that part as well. That's also gonna give you a lot of mileage. Fine. Go ahead. And any more query? Okay, fine. First though, fine, nice. So you can see that you can see that this is my mail ID. And saurabh.pandey3112 @gmail.com. You can take down my email ID, and if you have any query, you can always send me a query. You can also put a query to query.brandveda @gmail.com. So @hotmail.com. Should we worry about spam in comments or a post? Google will take it. Fine. One thing is, what you can do is, Aryan, is someone is putting negative, what you can do is you can always flag as an appropriate, and you can also notify Google team as well. And I'm not very sure why people will do spamming, because probably competitors probably people should not do spamming, I guess. So if there is spamming, probably you can always flag, because once the review is posted, Google also check that part as well, right? So Google also take care. So some part you want to take care, and some part Google going to take care as well. Fine. And if someone is putting negative comment, because Google is always Google local business. Let's say if you've got 700 reviews, and if there are 2 negative reviews, Google will also show that negative review, because Google does not want to be biased. So they're also going to show negative and positive about your business as well. So reviews are very important, and tip is always work on reviews, and there are a lot of other ways to get reviews as well. Good. So fine. So if you have any query, you can always type, no problem. And you can take down my number as well. So my number is 846022 8470. This is my WhatsApp number, and you can always share your feedback about this webinar as well. So last day I did webinar on Google Ad strategy, and you can always tell me that if you want me to do on some specific topic, I would love to do that part as well. You can always tell me, and I request everyone that if you can spend 2-3 minutes, and if you can go to if you can give us a review, so if you can share your experience about this session as well. So it will not take much time, but I'll show you how you can do it. This is like I go here, desktop sharing, and you can see, and you can go to BrandVeda, and if you search for BrandVeda, you'll find BrandVeda. And what you can do is you can always give a review. So you can come here, and I'll be happy if you can give your review. So I'll be really happy if you can give us, if you can share your views as well. So that's also going to help us as well, and that always motivates us to do lot of sessions as well. Fine. So I'm going to share this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a link, and I'm going to share you these 2-3 files which I showed to you, and that I'm very sure that's going to add a lot of value. So you go and use those free tools, and in case if you have any problem, please do let me know, and you can always come and meet me. And how many of you are from Ahmedabad? Okay, fine. So most of you probably will be from Ahmedabad, but no worries. You can always come and meet me. You can also check our website, which is brandvedaahm, and we do a lot of workshops. So I'm also going to do a one live workshop here on this Saturday from 10 o'clock, and I'm going to talk about Google Ads. Thanks a lot, Jaspreet, and I hope that you guys have learned a lot of things from this session. And one thing is very important, that you have to love your work. That should be your priorities. Don't worry about money, because objective is to make a lot of money. And I want you to fall in love with this topic. So if you love digital marketing, fall in love with digital marketing. Because I will tell you, there are 2 reasons why people fail. Number one, I've seen a lot of people, they do in a hurry. They do a lot of work in a hurry. They want to start Facebook campaign in a hurry. They will do Google Ads hurry. They do LinkedIn marketing hurry. So probably if you're doing work in a hurry, it's not going to give you a result unless you have sufficient experience. And next part is, it's all about strategy, and it's all about experimentation. I've seen a lot of people, they don't do experiments at all. And if you do experiments, you will get a lot of idea. You'll get a lot of idea about this part as well. So that's really very important. And make sure that you do experiments, you learn, and always see successful brands. Always love your competitors, because if they're doing good, it's also going to add a lot of value. So thanks a lot. So I'm very thankful to all of you, Aryan, Deepak, Edwin, Jaspreet, Meghna, Nirali, Urme, and all of you people. Thanks a lot for joining me. I know that your time is very precious, and spending time is very, life is once. And make sure that you live every day, and focus on your craft. And I suggest you that whenever you go to work, see yourself as an artist, and take your works and craft, and see if you're taking your craft to a next level. Fine. So the more you learn, the more you're gonna earn. So I'll finish this webinar now, and if you have any query, I have you have my number. Probably you can ping me. You can also find me on Instagram, and you can also share your reviews on Google. I request everyone to please share valuable reviews on our Ahmedabad center. And I'm going to do a lot of webinars, Aryan. Yes, I'm going to do a lot of webinars. Because my objective is to make you fall in love with digital marketing, and I have your number, and probably I'm also waiting for your reviews and queries on WhatsApp as well. And don't worry, if you have any problem, you can always come and meet me personally as well. Probably we'll discuss, and we're going to work that part as well. Fine. So Edwin, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your wonderful one. And make sure that you don't forget to give reviews, because that is the real, that is also motivate me as well. Fine. So me and my team. Fine. So thanks a lot for joining me for this wonderful session. And dream big, work hard, start small. Fine. Take care. Bye bye. Tata.